In the heart of a mythical London, a city reborn as Albion, stood not a stone tower, but the towering jade spire. This colossal structure of crystal and steel cast its long shadow over the bustling city. On its highest floor, within halls that gleamed with reflected light, resided Queen Elara, a beloved ruler and mother to the young Princess Lyra and Prince Thorn. The royal hall, usually a place of solemn decree, echoed with the bright laughter of her children and the joyful murmurs of the court. Albion was alive with excitement, the entire city preparing for the Grand Sun Festival. This celebration wasn't just a party, it was a testament to the peace and splendor of Elara's enlightened reign. The streets were draped in banners, the markets overflowed with goods, and the people's hearts were full of hope. But beneath this dazzling surface of glory, a deep and insidious darkness was festering. It coiled in the heart of the one person who should have been Alara's staunchest ally, her husband, King Ragnar. His heart, once noble, had long been given over to the gnawing poisons of shadow and envy. He couldn't stand the light that shone from Alara, a brilliance that captivated her people and cast his own ambitions into the shade. Tormented by his jealousy, Ragnar chose to betray everything he once stood for, aligning himself against all that was good and just in the kingdom. From the palace's vast crystal window, a portal offering views to the distant horizon, Elara witnessed the unfolding of a nightmare. There, on the icy, jagged peaks of the Wirewood Mountains, a massive armored host was gathering. It was a legion of shadows, a terrifying army arrayed under Ragnar's dark banner. They were the army of the Blight, a force of pure malice, risen from forgotten depths to extinguish Albion's peace and light. Their armor absorbed the sun, their weapons pulsed with a malevolent energy, and their sheer numbers blotted out the pristine white of the mountain snows. The attack came without warning. It was sudden, brutal, and merciless. One moment, the city was a symphony of preparation and joy. The next, it was a cacophony of destruction. The blight descended from the mountains like an avalanche of death. Buildings crumbled, streets were torn asunder, and the joyful cries of the people turned into wails of pure terror and despair. Ragnar's intent was horrifyingly clear: to shatter the queen's spirit, destroy her city, and brutally end the lineage of light she represented. But the Jade Spire, the heart of Albion, held strong. It was more than just a building. It was a fortress protected by ancient, powerful spells, woven into its very foundations by Elara's ancestors. The Blight's army, for all its might and fury, could not breach the Queen's sanctuary. Their dark magic shattered against its crystalline walls. Their siege weapons proved useless against its enchanted defenses. The spire stood defiant, a beacon of hope in a city plunged into chaos. In the midst of this fiery maelstrom, a figure of unwavering loyalty emerged. Callum, the commander of the Royal Guard, a man with the strength of the mountains in his blood and a mind filled with hidden strategies, rushed to Elara's side. He was her sworn protector, his loyalty absolute, under a relentless bombardment of fire and steel that shook the spire to its core. Callum's calm presence was an anchor in the storm. He knew the palace's secrets better than anyone. With the enemy at their gates, Callum ushered the queen and her two terrified children through a secret ancient passage hidden behind a tapestry depicting the kingdom's founding. This hidden route, known only to the royal family and their most trusted guards, led them deep beneath the city, away from the carnage and the reach of the blight. They navigated the winding, dusty tunnels as the sounds of battle faded above them, emerging into the cold air outside the city walls. Their sanctuary was now their prison. They arrived at a remote, secluded location, a place of future hope that now felt like a desolate refuge. Here, a new palace, intended for the future Queen Lyra, was under construction. It was meant to be a symbol of continuity, of a bright future. But now it was just a skeleton of a building, a haunting reminder of all that had been lost. Though it was only early autumn, a sudden unnatural snowfall had begun. Heavy, wet flakes cloaked the green fir branches and the muddy, churned-up construction site in an eerie, unsettling white. It was as if winter itself had answered Ragnar's call, smothering the land in a premature shroud of sorrow. Tilara stepped inside the half-finished chambers. The wind howled through the empty window frames, carrying the distant screams of her people. A chill seeped into her bones, but it wasn't from the cold. It was the crushing weight of her fate, the agony of her city's destruction, and the unbearable pain of her people's suffering. Her heart constricted, a physical ache of grief, and for a moment the queen broke. Silent tears streamed down her face, each one a testament to a life, a home, a dream shattered. But her tears were brief. Through the blur she saw her children, Lyra and Thorn, looking up at her. Their small faces were filled with fear, but also with an unwavering trust in their mother. In their eyes, she saw not just the reflection of her own despair, but the future of their kingdom. A fire ignited within her, a force more powerful than any grief. Queen Alara straightened her posture, her spine turning to steel. The sorrow that had threatened to drown her gave way to a burning, unquenchable fire of resolve. She was no longer just a mother in exile, a queen without a throne. In that moment of profound loss, something new was forged. The gentle, peaceful ruler was gone. In her place stood the Fire Queen. With a fierce new authority burning in her eyes, she made her decision. Her voice steady and clear in the cold, empty hall. She would not merely survive. She would not hide. She would gather her strength, rally her allies, and she would return. She would hunt down the Blight King and his shadow army, and she would obliterate them. She would reclaim Albion's lost glory, not just for herself, but for every soul Ragnar had wronged. This was not the end. This was not a defeat. This was the beginning of the war for the throne. The awakening had begun. Thank you for watching. If you were captivated by this story, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter in the epic saga of the Fire Queen. We'll see you next time.